Our multi-tester review, I'm going to take a first run and do a bunch of comparisons for you of the Saucony Freedom 4, which releases March 1st, $150. The Freedom 4 sees significant changes from the Freedom 3. First, instead of PWRUN Plus, a TPU midsole, it gets PWRUN PB, a P-Bax-based midsole, the same midsole as the Endorphin Speed and the Pro. So I'm expecting a springier ride. It gets a new engineered mesh upper, which is thinner and more pliable, which has, as you can see, very nice kind of suede overlays and embossing of the logos. It's a very subtle, beautiful upper. It has a gusseted tongue. And on my foot, it fits true to size, even though Saucony sent me a half size up. Another very significant change is to the outsole. The Freedom 3 had crystal rubber, and you could literally twist the shoe into a pretzel. I'll show you what that looked like. The Freedom 4 is considerably more rigid torsionally while still having decent flex. So it becomes a much more stable shoe. In fact, I think it may replace the Kinvara, which in the 12, which is coming up soon, becomes kind of a more flexible, less stable, kind of firmer option. As you can see, Saucony has added some little rubber sidewalls here on both sides at the heel to reinforce things, to stabilize things. And then up front, you see an expanse of rubber, which is quite firm. This isn't the soft kind of mushy crystal rubber of old. So all in all, that makes it a very stable ride. Much more stable than prior Freedoms, which I often called the wild child, because they were so twisty. The uppers barely held you, although the 3 was much better, with not even a heel counter. And now we have a heel counter. So this is a much more solid shoe. So I'm going to take them out for a first run and give you my impressions, and then I'm going to compare to several other shoes, including the Kinvara 12. So stay tuned. Beautiful day here at Cable Beach. Let's talk about fit of our Freedom 4. Well, it's a very different fit for sure than the predecessors, particularly the Freedom 1, which was a super sloppy shoe, kind of a knit upper. Here we have a very locked down performance type upper. Very sumptuous on the foot, very secure. The booty works really well. I'm actually a half size up from my normal 8.5 at a 9. And yes, they're a bit long, but I am perfectly held front to back. If you have a dodgy toe, you might go a half size up here. You won't be suffering at all for fit. The heel is super well held. The lace up, a little stretchy, these laces, somehow, particularly the black one. They came with the white, but they also gave me the black. I did have to relace, but that often happens with a new shoe. I think they'll be suitably breathable. They move very, very well with the foot and the rest of the platform. Okay, so how was the ride and the run today? Well, I ran about 8:24 pace. It was a progression, so I ended up well below 8 my last mile. All paces from about 9 minutes down to 7:40 or so. Felt great. I was well locked into the shoe, even though they're a bit long, as I said. You can see this suede overlays. It's really a luxuriously built shoe. The lace holders are also kind of a suede material, and then you have these embossed logos, very subtle, very well put together. We got a full heel counter, well locked in, even half size up. Tongue was great. I did say earlier in terms of fit, the laces are a bit stretchy. Now, in terms of the ride, this is a up-tempo shoe. If you remember prior Freedoms, I kind of called them the wild child. They often had kind of a sloppy, free kind of form upper that didn't really hold. Well, that's all gone away here. They also weren't particularly stable. With the Kinvara being sort of the stability shoe, well, Saucony has changed some things. You see here on both sides we have a piece of the outsole wrapping up. So this is a more stable shoe. It's actually, I think, considerably more stable than the Kinvara 12 we just reviewed. You see that outsole is really full coverage, pretty much, except for a few windows here. It's a relatively firm rubber, front and back. So with the PWRUN PB midsole, which gives it that nice spring, similar to the Endorphin Speed, but here with no plate, or Pro, the outsole kind of provides the stability element to the shoe and the response on toe off, but also the stability on landing. So it really has, it's kind of a neat combination of spring and response from that firmer outsole rubber, and it's very well blended together. So this is kind of at a 4mm drop. We got a weight of 8.38 ounces, quarter ounce less than the predecessor, 237 grams for a size 9. We now really have a option in the Saucony lineup for your kind of workout up-tempo shoe without a plate. Those that like kind of a firmer, not firmer, but a kind of lower stack, more traditional ride with a lot of response will also like this. The 4mm drop really isn't noticed at all because there's no bottoming out, as I find a little bit in the Endorphin Speed. As I was running, there were a few other shoes that immediately came to mind. I sort of thought of this as a bit like an updated Adios boost, without the sort of overly bouncy boost in the heel, without resorting to all kinds of plastic elements, with a snappy toe off that isn't overly cushioned, but plentiful cushion. A couple other shoes I thought of for contrast: the Hoka Mach 4, which really takes a very different approach. Instead of a super firm, or if you will, thin outsole like we have here, it has a thick layer of rubberized foam, so it's sort of a softer, overall bouncier ride, a little bit less responsive, a little more cushioned in feel, although the stack heights are pretty close between these two, as we have 28-24 here, and I think 29-24 for our Mach 4. But that's a different kind of feel, a softer, kind of more gentle feel. This is a more up-tempo kind of workout feel, faster feel. Clearly the Freedom 4 is still Saucony's wild child, but maybe a little bit better behaved, a little more focused here on running fast, a little less kind of all over the place. Well done. Of course, one must compare to the Endorphin Speed, which has the same PWRUN PB midsole and has a 35mm heel, 27mm forefoot, 8mm drop versus 28-24 4mm drop, and actually weighs about half an ounce, a little more, 16 grams less, and only costs $10 more. Well, you'll want to choose the Freedom 4 if you prefer a non-plated shoe and you want a kind of more traditional, kind of natural ride. The upper here really is a thing of beauty. Look at that detailing. That's embossed. There's the suede elements. There's reflective kind of suede, I think, at the heel. And you got your PWRUN PB. So we are going to have a full multi-tester review of the Freedom 4, which releases March of 2021. It's $150. It weighs 8.38 ounces or 237 grams in a size 9, so less, a quarter ounce less than its predecessor. It's a fine new option from Saucony, who have really remodeled their line, and it's the third shoe in their lineup with the P-backs type midsole, and I think it's really well done here. Thank you very much for watching. Please also visit our website, RoadTrailRun.com, for the full multi-tester reviews.